Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending August the 10th, 2022. Please don't buy this Toronto home. That's what I felt like telling this agent and his buyer clients who were putting an offer on one of our listings. Let me tell you what happened. Like I just said, an agent put an offer on one of our listings. And before I review the offer with my clients, the sellers, I call the buyer, I call the agent, and I gather as much information as I can. I want to know, why did they pick that closing date? I want to know about their deposit. I want to know about the conditions. This particular offer had a financing condition, so I want to really harp in on that and find, like, why do they need a financing condition? What's their financing situation? Where are they from? What do they do? I want to get as much information as I can. And then when I'm speaking with my seller clients about the offer, I'm not just talking about the numbers on the offer on the paper. I'm talking about the background story to the buyers. We're having an intelligent conversation about the whole offer. Well, my clients, as many sellers out there, they prefer firm offers with no conditions. And when I went through that there's a 5-day financing conditions from the buyers, they're kind of, oh, I wish there was no financing condition. And, I can see that. I understand why. And that used to be a normal thing, offers going in with no conditions months ago. This is a different climate right now, a different market. And I got to tell you also, when I was speaking with the buyer's agent, there's a few things that he said, the way he said it, and some information he gave me about the buyers. I know he was talking up their story. Maybe it's just experience, but my intuition was telling me something is just not right here. And I didn't have the confidence that they'd be able to actually close on this house. So in talking about the offer and the financing condition, I was explaining to my sellers, say, look, I get that you want a firm offer. However, this could be a good thing because I'm not so confident that these are the right buyers that financially can close on your home. So wouldn't it be better that if we agree on price, that they go through the financing process in the first 5 days? And if they qualify and then remove it, well, we can have peace of mind that there's, the best chance ever that they're going to close. But if we go firm now, we might find out when the movers have their truck full of your furniture on the way to your next place that they might not close, that's a mess afterwards. So, well, we went back and forth, offers, counter offer a few times, and we got right down to the buyer's highest price and my client's, the seller's, lowest price. And it was pretty close. And my clients had the attitude that, if it was firm, we would take their price. So I called the agent, the buyer's agent. I said, look, we're pretty close here. If this was firm, my clients would probably accept your price. And he says, oh, if that's what it's going to take to put this deal together, then we'll remove the financing condition. I called my clients, the seller, said, look, here's what he said, but I strongly insist you really don't remove this financing condition. Give them the time so you have peace of mind that these people can actually close. And so my sellers eventually agreed, and that's what we did. We accepted it with the financing condition. Well, just 3 days into that financing condition, the agent came back to me and said, they don't qualify. They cannot buy this house. It's like, holy smokes. How is he so quickly able to remove the financing condition just like that, just to put the deal together? And I got to tell you, it saved my clients a ton of headaches. I couldn't tell you what it was. Again, maybe it's just experience, but the way the agent was communicating, some of the information he was telling me, there's a few takeaways from this story. One is, if you're a buyer, get yourself properly organized financially before you start buying a house, before you start to go shopping. If you're an agent working with buyers, insist that they're properly qualified and don't be so cavalier in removing conditions. If you're a seller, you know, sometimes we look at a financing condition as kind of the enemy. Oh, there's a financing condition. It could really give you peace of mind. You could know right at the end, once you've started moving away, that these people can't close, or you could know right up front when you're still in the selling mood, your house is still staged, it's sold conditional, so you pause for a couple of days while the buyers try to get their financing in order. If it's in order and everything is good, wonderful. You can have peace of mind that this deal's going to close. But if not, you want to know right away up front while you're still in the selling mood. And I know a lot of you are going to say, so what? If they don't close, just sue the buyers. That's a nightmare. Suing the buyers, it's not automatic that you get their deposit plus whatever damages you have. It's a nightmare to sue somebody in this situation, and it could take several years to actually win. And I can guarantee you from experience, many sellers that have won in this situation, they won the lawsuit, they don't even feel like they won because of the nightmare that they've been through trying to sue these people over a span of a few years. So just saying, just sue them, that's not the answer. The suing somebody is when there's no other alternative and you've done everything else in your power to avoid that. Well, keeping the financing condition for the sellers is a tool for you too. Many times we look at the financing condition as something only protecting the buyers. In this climate, it can also protect the sellers as well. If you think this story or this video can help anybody you know, please pass this video along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time. I'll make sure my schedule's organized so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. And if you're looking to live in an exclusive, upscale, gated community on one of the top golf courses in Canada, check out the video at the end of this video. Let's get into the numbers. Here we have for the City of Toronto. Now this is just the City of Toronto. There's no Durham, there's no York region, there's no Peel region, just the City of Toronto for detached properties only. I have the numbers broken down by week going back for a year. Last week ending we have here is August the 10th. Sales went up a bit from the previous week. We sold 115 detached properties across the City of Toronto for week ending August the 10th. Now that's up from the previous week. The previous week was week ending August the 3rd, and in that week we had our long weekend. So I think that has something to do with the lower sales the previous week. But this week, again, 115 detached properties were sold across the City of Toronto. 21 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price has come down from the previous week. It's sitting at $1,567,000. We've come way down from where we were before. $1,567,000 is 1% higher than last year's average sold price, and median price is 5% below last year's median price. Median price for detached properties across the city of Toronto is $1,260,000. If we go back 3 months, median price was $1,490. It is now $1,260 in 3 months. It's come down quite a bit. If we look at sales overall, of the 115 that were sold, 26% of those sold at list price or more. So a quarter are selling at list price or more, versus last year where double, 55% were selling at list price or more. It's a lot more competitive. And if we look at year-to-date sales, January 1st to August 10th this year versus last year, we have 28% fewer sales of detached properties across the city of Toronto. Now, 28% fewer sales seems like a lot, but I got to tell you, when you start talking about some of the other areas, York region, Peel region, Durham, we're talking 35 to almost 50% fewer sales in other regions. So 28% fewer sales in the city of Toronto isn't so bad. Listings, we have 8% fewer listings year to date in the city of Toronto. And again, I stress, because in the comments, sometimes people are asking me, separate the house types. Well, this is separated. This is just for detached properties. So I just want to stress that a bit. And months of inventory for detached properties is 2.7, which came down from the previous week. Sometimes we get numbers that really don't make a lot of sense, and they're difficult, if not impossible, to explain. Average sold price is coming down. Months of inventory is going up, and that alone makes sense, what I just said there. However, the fact that months of inventory is still sitting around 2.7, I got to tell you, I would expect it to be much higher now, especially from what we see happening in the field there. Average days on market sitting at 22 average days on market. Let's break Toronto down into 3 sections, because the first numbers were for all the city of Toronto, and let's just break it down a bit more. So we have Central Toronto in blue, we have West Toronto in green, and in burgundy, we have East Toronto. Not, all Toronto, we have one number, but when you break it down, different things are happening in different regions. There's different market behaviors going on. So here we have for West Toronto, 36 detached properties were sold. 8 of those were at $2 million or more. And it seems for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, average sold price has actually been going up in west part of Toronto. It's now sitting at just under 1.5 million at 1,498,000, which is 3% higher than last year's average sold price. And the median price is 5% higher than last year's median price. Median price for West Toronto is 1,201,000. Months of inventory for West Toronto is 2.9, and 24 is the average days on market. Looking at Central Toronto, 32 detached properties were sold. 12 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $2,218,000. Central Toronto obviously has the lion's share of the luxury properties. But average sold price, $2,218,000, which is 9% higher than last year's average sold price. And median price of $1,825,000 is 12% higher than last year's median price. And months of inventory came down from the previous week to 3.8. We've been sitting in the balanced market phase of over 4 months for a while now, and it's come down a bit. Looking at East Toronto, 47 detached properties were sold. 1 of those was at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down quite a bit. It's now at $1,177,000, which is 8% lower than last year's average sold price. And median price of $1,100,000 is 10% lower than last year's median price. And months of inventory for East Toronto. East Toronto is where we have the most activity as far as parts of Toronto goes. Months of inventory for East Toronto sitting at 1.7. Here's a quick summary. Now, East Toronto normally has the highest amount of sales. East Toronto normally has the lowest average sold price and the lowest median price. And East Toronto also has the highest amount of property selling at list price or more, usually has the lowest average days on market, and usually has the lowest months of inventory, which is what you can kind of see happening right now. Let's take a quick look at semis. 29 semis were sold. That's it. Only 29 across all the city of Toronto. 2 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price has come down. It's now sitting at $1,067,000. It's come way down from where we were at the peak of close to or around 1.6 million. $1,067,000 as an average sold price is 15% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. And the median price of $1,005,000 is 8% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Months of inventory has gone up. It's now sitting at 2.3 months of inventory. Looking at townhouses, 14 townhouses were sold. It's not a lot, but it's double the sales that we did the week before that. Week ending August 3rd, 7 townhouses were sold. These are freehold townhouses. Week ending August 10th, 14 freehold townhouses were sold. We doubled in sales. 4 of those were at $1.5 million or more, which shot up the average sold price to now $1,249,000. I wouldn't look too much into the average sold price. The sales are just so few that prices kind of will be going up and down the way you're seeing them here. Well, average prices. Well, $1,249,000 is 2% higher than last year's average sold price, and the median price of $1,158,000 is 12% higher than last year's median price. And months of inventory, because of the all of a sudden increase in sales, it came down by half of what it was the previous week. Months of inventory is now sitting at 2 months of inventory for freehold townhouses. Condos, what's going on in condos? Well, sales jumped up quite a bit from the previous week. Now remember, the previous week for week ending August the 3rd, there was a holiday long weekend in there, and for sure that does affect the sales. But last week we sold 185 condos across the city of Toronto. 20 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price came up a little bit from the previous week. It's now sitting at $749,000 for the average condo that was sold. $749,000 is 1% higher than where the average sold price was a year ago. If we look back, the orange line, those are the current this year's prices. The blue is last year. You can see the gap between this year's price and last year's price getting smaller and smaller, and we got the countdown 3, 2, 1% higher right now. Well, median price at $700,000 is 9% higher than last year's median price. When we look at sales of the 185 that sold, 21%, less than a quarter, 21% sold at list price or more. This time last year, 42% were selling at list price or more, just to give you the comparison. And year-to-date sales, we have 28% fewer condo sales this year, year-to-date, versus last year. Listings, we have 4% fewer listings. Now, active listings has been coming down gradually. Months of inventory is now sitting at 3.5 months of inventory. The average days on market is 26. Here's a quick summary. In most cases, months of inventory has actually come down. And actually, that's a GTA-wide thing, not just the city of Toronto. So over last week for week ending August the 10th, Months of inventory generally has come down a bit. Let's see how that develops over the next few weeks. The market sales kind of went up, and it seems that more people were buying than what we were kind of used to over the last few weeks. That's the market. That's what's happening right now in the field in the city of Toronto. Have an awesome day. Here's your chance to be one of the fortunate ones and live at this exclusive and upscale gated community at the Beacon Hall Golf Club in Aurora. Now, the Beacon Hall Golf Club, if you love golf, you'll probably know it ranks amongst the best in Canada. The home I'm introducing you to, 650 Brush Grove, backs onto the 7th fairway. Come, let me show you the inside. Oh, by the way, this garage, that fits 2 cars. This part of the garage, that's for your golf cart. Come on in. To say that this home has been fully modernized and renovated would be an understatement. Everything you see is new, even what you don't see. New electrical, new plumbing, new mechanicals. I would even say the home now is better than new. Why don't we start with this massive living room with over 10-foot ceilings? Here's one of my favorite rooms, the principal bedroom. Have a look. And just behind these pocket doors, your own Hollywood-style dressing room.